The Parisian runway glittered with international stars, haute couture designs, and the meticulous orchestration that defines Fashion Week at its peak. Into this glittering world stepped Meghan Markle, Duchess of Montecito, with all the confidence one might expect from a woman married to royalty. Yet from the moment she arrived, cameras caught a different reality. Marcus Anderson, a luminary in the fashion industry, appeared to coldly disregard her presence. Meghan, in response, exaggerated her gestures. A smile stretched a little too wide, eyes blinking slowly as if to signal calm, and whispered words directed at no one in particular. Observers noted her behavior as desperate attention-seeking, a stark contrast to the poised, controlled presence of her peers. There is no denying that Meghan has a history with Pierpaolo Piccioli, having worn his designs on multiple high-profile occasions over the years. Their professional bond, described as one of mutual admiration, might explain her insistence on attending. However, this history cannot shield her from the optics of being publicly snubbed. In fashion, presence is everything. But etiquette, subtlety, and social perception matter even more. Meghan's actions, while perhaps intended to demonstrate relatability and charm, instead projected a sense of social awkwardness that reverberated across the press room and social feeds alike. When a public figure of Meghan's stature is caught in such a scenario, social media moves faster than any spokesperson's statement. Clips of her awkward laughter and overly deliberate gestures circulated within hours. Analysts and journalists dissected every frame, describing her body language as uncomfortable and out of place. The Duchess's carefully maintained image as a poised, stylish and modern royal seemed to falter in real time. For someone accustomed to global adulation and extensive media training, this moment could only be described as catastrophic. Context of Balenciaga show. Balenciaga, under Pierpaolo Piccioli's creative direction, represents the pinnacle of fashion innovation and elite cultural cachet. Meghan's attendance could have been framed as a celebration of artistry, elegance, and enduring professional relationships. Yet the reality unfolded differently. Rather than a graceful display of support, it became a spectacle of social misalignment. Her presence, contrasted with the effortless poise of other fashion luminaries, underscored a recurring critique leveled at Meghan. Her difficulty in blending seamlessly into elite, high-pressure environments outside the royal bubble. Experts in celebrity image management note that Meghan's gestures, the wide smile, slow blinks, and whispers, are indicative of overcompensation in social situations. Such behavior can be interpreted as both a cry for validation and a signal of discomfort in a setting that demands effortless charm. While some might argue that these moments humanize her, the overwhelming consensus among fashion insiders frames this as a public relations misstep of epic proportions. Meghan's relationship with the fashion world has always been complicated. While she has garnered praise for her choices on red carpets and in public engagements, critics have long questioned her ability to integrate into exclusive fashion circles. This Paris event adds another chapter to a pattern of moments where her public image diverges from elite social expectations. Looking ahead, Meghan's Paris Fashion Week appearance raises questions about her strategy for future engagements. Fashion events, particularly those in Paris, demand not only style, but diplomacy, subtlety, and social grace. Missteps in these arenas risk overshadowing any professional accomplishments or charitable initiatives she undertakes. Several industry insiders, preferring anonymity, describe the scene as awkward and telling. Observers emphasize that social dynamics at such events are delicate, and public gestures, like Meghan's, are immediately scrutinized for both intent and authenticity. The snub by Markus Anderson, captured on camera, was interpreted as a tacit reminder that fashion accolades and royal status do not automatically translate to peer acceptance. As clips of Meghan's awkward interactions circulated online, reactions ranged from empathetic to critical. Memes, Commentary threads and fashion blogs dissected every gesture. One viral clip showed her whispering to nobody in particular while Anderson ignored her, completely a moment that epitomized the disconnect between Meghan's expectations and reality. Others described her outfits as bedsheets and that she looked like toilet tissues. Ultimately, Meghan Markle's attendance at the Balenciaga show in Paris represents a cautionary tale of celebrity, social dynamics, and perception management. While she arrived with a credible reason, supporting a long-term collaborator, the reality of the evening revealed a dramatic disconnect between intention and reception. The snub by Markus Anderson, amplified by her body language and public reactions, is likely to be remembered as a humbling and instructive episode in Meghan's ongoing navigation of elite social and fashion circles. Markle's challenges at Paris Fashion Week were not limited to Markus Anderson. Those seated near her, including high-profile fashion editors, models, and international celebrities, reportedly avoided eye contact or engaged minimally. Observers noted that several turned their attention away the moment Meghan attempted conversation, signaling an unmistakable lack of acceptance from the fashion elite. Even seasoned stars who are used to high-profile media attention seemed to instinctively sidestep her presence, amplifying the Duchess's discomfort. The optics of multiple contemporaries quietly ignoring her was captured in numerous photos, creating a narrative of social isolation that is difficult for any public figure to shake. One of the most telling moments of the evening occurred when Meghan attempted to greet Anna Wintour, editor-in-chief of Vogue and one of the most powerful figures in fashion. Witnesses report that Meghan's overly broad smile, hesitant steps, and whispered attempts at conversation struck as unnervingly forced. Wintour, known for her discerning and often intimidating presence, appeared largely indifferent, giving a polite but minimal nod in response. Meghan's reaction, a mix of exaggerated nodding, awkward hand gestures, and slow blinks, was immediately interpreted by fashion insiders as cringe and desperately performative, further signaling that she was out of sync with elite social cues. Throughout the evening, Meghan tried repeatedly to engage with peers, leaning forward, whispering comments, and laughing at moments that weren't widely acknowledged. These gestures, meant to convey relatability and charm, instead drew attention to the absence of reciprocal engagement. Fashion insiders watching the footage noted that her attempts came across as self-conscious and over-rehearsed, highlighting a disconnect between her public persona as a polished, confident royal and the awkward reality of interacting in a high-pressure fashion environment. Paris Fashion Week is notoriously unforgiving when it comes to social signaling. Seating arrangements, body language, and eye contact are scrutinized by both media and peers alike. For someone in Meghan's position, someone with global fame, but relatively less integration in the fashion elite, the room acted as a magnifying glass for every misstep. Her exaggerated gestures, whispering, and awkward laughter were amplified by the rigid social structure of the event, making her appear both out of place and desperate for acknowledgement. Every snub, whether intentional or perceived, was magnified by the environment's high-stakes nature. While Meghan's professional relationship with Pierpaolo Piccioli is well documented and genuine, her visible struggle to navigate elite social dynamics casts a shadow over her credibility as a fashion influencer. Photographers and journalists noted the contrast between her gestures and those of seasoned attendees, emphasizing that confidence and poise in public events are as critical as style choices themselves. The combined effect of multiple snubs, from Markus Anderson, other celebrities, and Anna Wintour, creates a narrative where Meghan's fashion authority is under scrutiny, not because of her choices, but because of her inability to blend seamlessly into the exclusive circles she seeks to inhabit. The Parisian runway, lit with the glow of cameras and the polished presence of fashion's top tier, was unrelenting in its judgment. Meghan Markle, seated among editors, models, and international stars, quickly became a focal point, not for her style, but for her glaring isolation. Photographs from the event reveal that those around her were distracted, engaged in their own conversations, and largely indifferent to her attempts at inclusion. While Meghan leaned in to whisper a comment or flash a smile, others subtly averted their gaze or shifted position, a visual dismissal that speaks volumes in the meticulously choreographed environment of Paris Fashion Week. Arguably, the most telling interaction occurred when Meghan sought to acknowledge Anna Wintour, a figure whose approval can shape careers. Wintour, ever the epitome of cool detachment, gave a brief nod but did not extend conversation. Meghan's reaction, a combination of wide smiles, hesitant steps forward, and whispered remarks, was caught on camera, appearing as an almost theatrical display of forced charm. Fashion experts describe the scene as painfully awkward and overcompensating, a rare glimpse of vulnerability from someone who has long cultivated a composed and confident image in public. Beyond Wintour, Meghan made multiple efforts to interact with her neighbors, from whispered greetings to soft laughter at moments that did not draw attention. While such gestures are intended to humanize public figures, in this context, they highlighted her social misalignment. Each attempt at connection seemed to amplify the lack of reciprocal acknowledgement, sending an unspoken message in these elite circles. Fame and royal status do not automatically translate to inclusion. Observers noted that her gestures lacked the fluidity and naturalness displayed by her peers, further cementing a perception of discomfort. Paris Fashion Week is not merely a showcase of clothing. It is a stage for power dynamics, subtle signals, and social hierarchy. Every movement, glance, and gesture is magnified, and insiders are quick to interpret intent. Meghan's struggle to conform to these unspoken rules made her presence conspicuous, a stark contrast to the effortless poise exhibited by the fashion elite. The snubs she received from Markus Anderson, other seated celebrities, and Winter herself served as reminders that entry into these circles requires more than celebrity status. It demands nuanced social intelligence and precise performance. The optics of Meghan's evening extend beyond mere embarrassment. They contribute to a growing narrative that questions her adaptability in elite cultural spaces. While her support for Pier Paolo Piccioli is factual and rooted in genuine admiration, the visual record of awkward gestures, ignored interactions, and socially unaligned behavior undermines her credibility in the eyes of fashion insiders and the public alike. This episode may influence how future invitations, collaborations, and partnerships are approached by both designers and industry professionals, signaling that prestige alone does not guarantee acceptance. Meghan Markle's gestures throughout the Balenciaga show were analyzed by multiple body language experts immediately after the event. Observers highlighted her exaggerated smile, slow blinking, and fidgeting hands as classic signs of social discomfort and overcompensation. Unlike the seasoned attendees who maintained relaxed postures and subtle, confident engagement, Meghan's movements seemed calculated yet unconvincing. Whispering comments to neighbors, leaning forward excessively, and periodically adjusting her seating position betrayed a heightened self-awareness, almost as if she was constantly scanning for approval. Experts argue that this behavior often signals a mix of insecurity and a desperate desire to connect, which in such an elite environment can backfire spectacularly. The contrast between Meghan and other high-profile attendees was stark. Stars like Zendaya, Timothée Chalamet, and Naomi Campbell navigated the venue with effortless poise, exchanging polite greetings and confident smiles without any hint of desperation. Photographs captured Meghan's attempts at engagement, juxtaposed with the natural ease of her peers, emphasizing her struggle to blend into the fashion elite. This discrepancy amplified the perception of her awkwardness, reinforcing narratives that suggest fame and royal titles do not automatically equate to social integration in tightly knit, high-fashion circles. Several fashion insiders, speaking under anonymity, described Meghan's presence as tense and visibly out of rhythm with the event. One senior stylist commented, "She clearly admires these designers, but admiration alone does not teach you the subtle choreography of Fashion Week.